back to DFW Metal Mayhem, the most brutal podcast in the Metroplex. Third week in a row of electricity, or second week, I don't even fucking remember. But yay, I'm still happy about that. I don't know why. Guys, I'm here with the motherfuckers in Civil Unrest.
Yep.
These guys were also one of the bands that answered the call to my big, I guess, open invitation to help me book dates because I was getting a little desperate there. And man, y'all fucking turned out. A lot of y'all turned out. I appreciate you guys doing that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man.
Definitely trying to reach out.
I saw it and I was just like, okay, cool. And then we get 3 different dates and I'm like, man, this guy's booking left and right, you know? It's just like, okay, well, when's the closest date? Sure enough, we settled on today. I was like, well, I'm gonna show tonight anyway. So
it works out for you. It works out for you.
Yep.
By the way, the show was probably badass. It was probably really good by the time you see this. Probably all the bands killed it, and it was a fun time. Reno's is a great place. I'm definitely happy to see some of the more core-leading bands play at Reno's because Reno's has always been the centro marquee for the metal scene. So it's just always cool to see other bands branch out and go there because that's like fucking home with me. I love that place to shreds.
yeah, Reno's is we don't play there often, and we actually had, what was the show we headlined there? It was May the 4th for No Hope, and that was like just to see everybody stick around till almost midnight. It was awesome, dude. Like, I love Reno's to death. It's smack dab in the middle of Deep Ellum. 2 bars. If one's busy, you got another one right in the next room. It's awesome. Great place to go.
Yeah. Steven and Joseph are great people too. All the bartenders there are just absolute gems and know what the fuck they're doing.
Right.
So guys, wanna hop in, just get right into it. We need to go back to day 1 of Civil Unrest. So, before we do that, because I'm high, introduce yourselves and what you do in the band, please.
I am Steven Ramirez. I'm one of the 2 singers of Civil Unrest.
I'm Cruz. I'm bass player, Civil Unrest.
And I'm Christopher. I'm vocalist, and we're both lyricists too.
Yes,
Yeah,
lyricist on the band. Yes.
Yeah, so it's weird because you get 3 out of the 5 members today, and you happen to get the 3 brothers out of everywhere in the freaking dartboard. Aspen works late today, and
It's all good.
Blake's got family shit. But yeah, you actually get the 3 brothers, which is kind of weird. Might play off each other a little bit. But
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Not at all. So take us to day 1.
to go to day 1 of Civil Unrest, you kind of have to go back a little bit
5
further.
years.
No,
No.
not that far. I was thinking like Tsukuyomi days.
Oh, yeah.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd always loved music our whole life, and we've always had this dream of playing. At one point, you know, he bought a bass, which I'm currently using. I bought a guitar. Our old buddy drummed, and it was this fun little thing we used to do. But after a while, we kind of stopped. You know, personal life, work gets in the way, and I meet this one dude at a club, and he's like, "Hey, my cousin plays music. You know, he's a friend of a friend," and we start talking, and eventually I go to that dude's house, and next thing you know, we're trying to start this band. We form a band called Tsukuyomi. It's absolutely terrible.
I always said it was a bad idea.
Yeah, we played like 6 shows and disbanded. Basically from the ashes of that is where Civil Unrest came from, because the drummer for Tsukuyomi at the time, Aspen, he's like, dude, I don't want this to die. The bass player for Tsukuyomi had to move on for personal reasons, and the guitarist, I don't even want to talk about that guy. In the end,
Dish truck.
it was bad. Well,
Oh, there it is.
I was about to say track 4.
Track 4 on the
But that went south, and I gotta say, man, that's where we got the taste. That's where Rustin gave us our first show at Tomcats. That was the defining moment for us when we were standing there and we're frozen solid. One of that first shows with Exhortation, and
Shout out. Exhortation.
having to play with Exhortation, like the minute we got off and they got on, they were just so professional. We're just like, damn, how did we get to this? And after booking that show, I didn't know what the hell to do, because technically it was our first time doing anything as a band. So I messaged Rustin like, hey, sorry we sucked. You know, we love doing it. We'd love to do it again sometime. He's like, can you come back in 4 weeks? So came right back, played a benefit show. Yeah, I was like, really? You wanted us? And it was from there, you know, we talked to a couple bands and we learned, you know, how to get over the stage fright. Tsukiyomi went on for another 5 shows. But
That sounds like that Naruto thing.
it
Sorry.
kind of is. That's what we normally get people talk about was a...
Fucking weeb, shut up!
I mean, it was. We had anime figures on our... This was mainly between me and the guitarist guy.
Okay.
Anime figures.
We had anime figures, and he always had, like, autographed guitars from different anime conventions we
I'm
went
the
to.
same way with Godzilla.
It's weird that way.
I
But,
know I'm not freaking
King
named.
Kong.
The whole aesthetic was bad. The majority of songs from that band were scrapped. Anything that he had helped write was scrapped, and everything on the bass player's part he really had no claim to. He was totally fine with us moving forward without him. Like I said, his personal stuff he had no real claim to, because I wrote every bass part and showed him how to play literally overnight before a gig.
Yeah, when we first started up Civil Unrest, we didn't have a bass player. It was just guitar, drums, and 2 singers.
We had a different drummer too.
Yeah.
Eventually, our drummer got sick with the attitude of the guitarist.
Yeah. But he's in the Meow Meows now, and they're doing damn good.
Jesse and the Meow Meows, amazing punk band. Really good.
I love our punk scene. We have a ridiculous punk scene because it like stretches across the entire spectrum of punk. Like we have the pop, we have the skater, we have the hardcore style, and then don't even get me started on the fucking grind bands that are in the scene. Holy shit, they fuck worlds up. I remember seeing the Ellen DeGeneres kind of recently-ish open up for Saint Breaker, which was a crossover band that came from Arizona at Reno's a couple weeks ago. Fucking killer shit, dude.
Yeah,
like punk ain't dead here. That's for
Oh yeah,
sure.
no, it's
You
not.
got Corkscrew, you got Jesse and the Meow
Get
Meows,
Corkscrew knows that.
Reisinger.
Noogie. The punk scene is great here. It's definitely awesome. We've seen the Dead Kennedys play at the Rail. You know, we saw Noogie and Ellen DeGeneres there, and we saw Michael Graves at the Rail. You know, the punk scene is here. Yeah.
Whoa.
That was surreal. That was like the only time I've ever been like, holy shit. You know.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's the man right there. I mean, wanting to dabble back a little bit, and I can't even remember what I wanted to dabble back on. It was something that I wanted to hit up. If I remember it, I will get to it. I don't edit, so me fucking up right now is going in the episode.
All good.
Oh yeah, unless someone like catches on fire, then that part gets cut out.
Yeah.
For safety reasons. So I was reading your bio because I unfortunately have not had the opportunity to see you guys yet,
Right.
and I kind of really what kind of shined to me the most was your influences, because it was just this mix. It was up and down the spectrums of the various subgenres, and when I was listening to the tracks you sent me, you could tell that you were taking certain aspects from these bands and you were kind of playing around with them and seeing how you did. Revolution, the intro to Revolution kind of reminds me of like 2003 Hatebreed intros, where like it's just like this ridiculous build-up and then Jimmy just goes, "Rah!" And like everyone just punches each other in the face at the same time in the bed. Like just everyone punches each other.
Yeah, the influences are extremely broad. We did a show with Cutthroat Conspiracy. We did their comeback show about a month or two ago, and the guy who did Void Report. Yeah, Void Report was out there, and they were like, "We've seen these guys play, and they've come so far." And they literally called out Slipknot, Mushroom Head, Trivium, and Avenged Sevenfold, and I'm like, plus many more. And I'm just like, man, yeah, I guess you kind of do have that, because like lately we've been writing more thrashy stuff, but for the original stuff, like. Again, before Blake joined the band, it was me on guitar, and Blake brought us to an entirely new level. So much so that I was like, I am stepping down, I'm taking over bass. So we couldn't find a bass player to save our lives. And he just perfected on the bass stuff that I had built with Revolution, Scorned, Hellfire, and like all those solos, I'm a terrible guitar player. He's the guy who brought those to life, and it was really awesome going into the studio literally maybe like a month after Blake had joined us. We went into the studio and recorded that EP.
We have a really good range of talent. And I like how you said that this dude brought you to a new level.
Oh, yeah.
I feel the same way about about Reed Mills, especially the bass player in my band, who actually did play in a band, a punk band with I believe the guitarist of Corpse Crew.
Yeah,
Social
I remember
Kills.
to talk about it. Yeah.
Social Kills, yeah. And I heard some of that, and I'm like, holy shit. And my old drummer Timothy knew Reed, and that's how I was able to be introduced to it. We went to the same high school together. We just never talked. I think we went to the same high school, but because I think I did see him there. I don't quite remember. Sorry, Reed. You can fact check me next band practice.
Reed, like I'd seen him play. I didn't know who he was, but I saw him play with Osmosis album.
Apophis, oh my
Apophis,
god, yes. Oh,
and like I saw them play, and they opened at a show that Forget Conformity was playing at. We were there,
Thursday night,
just supporting the show. Yeah, and like maybe a month or so after that, it was Akon, and I run a lot of panels at anime conventions. So I was running a panel about literal waifu anime debate bullshit.
Oh, yeah,
I know. It's not something.
it's gonna get good.
But
I know it is. Watch.
But I see this dude come up, and he's dressed literally as the dude from The Big Lebowski.
Yes.
And this guy's in full cosplay. He looks stoned and hungover, and I'm like, okay, cool. And he does his debate. He's got a freaking body pillow. It was like so like, okay, cool. At the end of the panel, we announced the winners of the contest, and we're thank everybody. Everybody's coming up to get our information so that we can keep doing. It's like the music scene. If people recommend you at conventions, they'll pay you to come out to those cons, and you can get more and more booked. Anyway, this dude comes by, and he's like all sleepy looking, glasses and everything, and he goes, "Hey man, Civil Unrest kicks ass." And I go, "Who the fuck is this?" He takes off the glasses like I'm Reed. I'm like, okay, I don't know you. But it was so cool to meet him, and now every anime con I see him just walking around, same costume. It's cool.
Fun fact, if you saw him August 18th, or like August 18th, 19th,
yeah.
He played a show in Fort Worth.
I know.
Drove all the way there, drove all the way back. Commitment! Love it.
I hated it because I kept trying to make that show. I was the autographs manager for that convention, so I was working on staff. And I could not get off in time. We had all this bullshit. Voice actor celebrities getting their schedules wrong. We had to stay late, and we weren't there till like 10, 11 o'clock doing autographs. Like, good God, kill me. And I really wanted to go because I was about to jump the hotel and go to Fort Worth and come back anyway.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it didn't happen. Again, it's going to happen one day. It's just not.
Alright, man, I'm not one to say, like, what are you? Like, it's all good.
Oh, yeah.
We ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
That's good.
But going back to the mix of influences, I kind of want to get, like, I definitely want to dive a little bit deeper in that. Like, I guess for just individually, like, what musicians, like, what bands individually have, like, really done for you that, like, make you do vocals, make you pick up your instrument and just go to fucking town? Whoever wants to start can start.
I guess I'll start. I have a very, very wide range that goes outside of metal entirely and rock entirely.
Perfect.
As a person, I've always listened to people like, I've listened to Elvis, Johnny Cash, Voltaire, a lot of people, Love Freaking Rise Against, and so many good bands out there, and I've always wanted to freaking do what they do. And to finally be able to do that's been amazing. Like, one of my biggest vocal influences that I've always wanted to be like was Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day. Now, we don't play songs.
I was about to say, you kind of
sort of like that. We went far left on that, but Avenged Sevenfold also is one of my favorite bands out there, so it's just always good to be doing, singing like they're singing. It's been amazing.
Dude has range. That dude has range.
Yes, he does.
Not the biggest fan of bass sound next myself, but you gotta give credit where credit is due. Those are a bunch of talented ass musicians for sure. Like you can't even debate it. Like they're.
Yeah.
I remember what was the first album name? I forgot.
Sounding the Seventh Trumpet.
When that came out, that was fucking tight. I remember when that coming out, me and my friend were listening to it, and we're like, oh my god.
And they just kept getting better, Waking the Fallen, and it just kept going.
That's a band that evolves and kind of trying to throw it back and then go back, because I'm one of those people that likes to do this when it comes to subjects. It's that constant evolution and progression, and you see it really well here in the scene. As I said, Reed, I feel like, has put Squadron on another level. If not already having Jacob fucking Slotowski from Exploder putting us on another level.
Right.
That by itself. But Reed is just an innovator. Like, he is taking all the old bass parts and an in-school archer and just revamped them. And if you listen to Apophis 2036 before this current lineup, they weren't bad. I had them here at the house party when they had the old lineup, and it wasn't bad. But then their old drummer left. They got a new drummer. Reed joined the band. There's one guy who joined before, but he didn't work out. But Reed joined in, and in my opinion, and I've said this many times, I feel like Apophis is the most improved band in the scene. From where they were to when they played this house party to where they are right now, they're monsters. And Marco especially is a guy who just always tries to challenge himself. You'll see him try to do like guitar covers of like fucking Alter Beast and fucking Meshuggah. He'll try to do like guitar covers and he like films them and shit. And you can clearly tell that there's like some mistakes being made here and there. That dude's just always fucking working. And goddamn, you have to respect that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now we're gonna get back into the influences. I'm sorry, I'm kissing everyone's ass right now.
No, I mean, come on, it's the local scene, dude. Just talk about whoever. You've had a lot of really cool bands on here. A lot of, like half of them we know.
Less.
I mean, I think half of them are playing the show tonight.
Fucking,
Cutthroat, Prevent Conformity, they were both on the show.
Beautiful Exchange was on
Beautiful
here.
Exchange.
Collapse in Chaos.
Collapse, yeah.
Collapse in the Chaos is playing the next house party November 3rd.
Oh, nice.
Right here, across the Day Orchard.
Damn, I think we're playing the comeback show for Perpetrator that night.
Are we?
Tomcats, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Perpetrator, if you're watching this, you need to get back with me so that I can reschedule y'all guys for the podcast. I'm sorry that I had to reschedule, but I definitely want to have you guys on, so please hit me back up. Thank you. All right, sir, your influences, specifically.
Again, I don't understand how we got here because we're so left field. When it comes to bass, I really have to give it to, like, Rancid. I'm an old school punk fan, especially of like the ska punk era, but like the original Misfits lineup, that's the Ramones, that shit I grew up with, and I'm trying to figure out how the hell we ended up in a metal band. But I think that like Mushroom Head was a real big influence on us, especially like going back to my guitar days. Mushroom Head was a real big deal, and I always wanted to experiment, you know, because they always had so much synth, and like I'm talking 96, 97 Mushroom Head, and I think really I've always wanted to have that vocal going back and forth, which we actually have. And I mean, as far as metal goes, you know, I grew up listening to shit everybody else listened to, Disturbed, Slipknot and stuff. But when it came to my friends talking about music, I was the guy who was talking about, you know, Misfits and the Ramones, and everyone's like, what the fuck are they? It's just...
Y'all ain't my real friends.
But yeah, as far as bass influences go, yeah, dude, Rancid, Mushroom Head, just anything with power or like a lot of groove. Definitely a big fan.
I can probably get behind that. Alright, sir.
I think for the most part, a lot of my influences actually came from rap and hip hop. The artistry and the lyrics and the composition and the flow, and just I've taken everything from those days, because that's basically, for the most part, what I listened to my whole life was rap and hip hop. I'm talking Ludacris, Eminem, fucking Biggie Smalls, old school shit. And
Method Man was my shit. Oh my god.
we actually had the track for Method, was it? Aspen did a track from Method?
Yeah, I think so.
Like an opening for Method.
Oh,
Method Man?
I think so, yeah.
From one of his songs.
Yeah, he like sampled it. We only got to do that once, but that was really cool to do. We really need to get back into samples.
That was my first big time hip hop. Like that was my first rapper that I'm like, holy fuck, this dude. Just
When it comes to like bands in general, Avenged Sevenfold, Slipknot, Rise Against, Korn, just Rage Against the Machine, just
There's all the really good ones.
there you go.
all the good shit.
All the good shit. All the shit that was like really hard hitting back in that time. Because most bands you named right there, especially with the hip hop artists, they were fucking shining in the same era in their respective crowds.
Yep.
It was a really explosive time to grow up in, because you were getting a lot of shit out of the woodwork. Because prior to that, we thought metal was going downhill. You had the giants that were putting out absolute fucking garbage, to be quite frank. And you had, okay, I'm gonna sound a little elitist here. Yeah, you fucking brothers in Pantera, brother, fucking, you know, putting some good shit out. And then like Fear Factor was a band that was putting some fucking solid shit out back back in those doubtful times. So I remember Demanufacture came out like '96, fucking gnarly album. Dino Cazares is a fucking god, in one name. But so I want to get into so you guys are just vocalists in the band. So how does that work? High, low, high? Do you like move off each other? How does this work out?
In some parts, in some songs, I'm doing lighter stuff. In other parts, we're doing we're going back and forth, and we generally just mix it around.
Yeah, it's never been clearly defined. Like, if you had a band like Mushroom Head, you know, you had Waylon with the light parts, and then J-Man.
Yeah,
it was Jeffrey
Jeffrey did
Right,
light parts.
Jeffrey, my bad.
And
Jeffrey did
J-Man
light
did heavy,
parts.
then Waylon did heavy and some light.
See,
Yeah.
some of those songs, we have the heavy light distinction. What's a good one there?
I would say in like a Trader definitely do. I do lighter parts than that, and he'll do heavier.
And it's the crazy part is that's coming in the same verse. You're going light to light to light to light, and then you bang the heavy. And then in songs like Revolution, there's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
It's
Revolution.
weird how it works.
Revolution, the verse is very much like hip hop influenced.
That's what I was
Have you ever
thinking,
seen
yeah.
like a hip hop or a rap show? You have the main person singing and the other person just emphasizing,
Yeah.
like the hype man.
ad-libs
That's
and
essentially
stuff.
what I do for Revolution.
Fuck
I
yeah.
think the best way to describe it is the way that December's vocalist Jordan was telling us. He said, y'all have studio sound. You know, when you have that double vocal at certain parts, like in Revolution, you have him doing the backup, head of state, get this straight. You have that, and he's like, you guys have the studio sound live. And that's really what you have to do. When you have two singers, you really get that whole experience that you normally wouldn't get out of a live show as you would get on the EP or
Yeah.
an album.
And I've seen some bands do two vocalists, and there's one band in particular that I saw that I knew it absolutely did not work out for. I don't remember their name. It's two chicks, and they opened up for King 810 at Gas Monkey Bar and Grill. I mean, they were nice. I remember talking to them for a little bit. It wasn't my thing, and I kind of felt like that they were doing the exact same thing, so it wasn't really necessary to have two of them together.
That sounds familiar.
That
doesn't
sounds like they disbanded. So.
I ain't trying to
Yeah.
throw stones.
No,
at people.
definitely not.
It's
I'm trying to remember the name.
We played with them in Corkscrew and Lovely, and it was a good
the
show.
Lovely.
Yeah, the
Jesse
singer's
Mills.
name was Cheney.
I don't know. Was it like a pop punk or pop rock type of deal?
No, bro, they were straight up
Metal?
windmill style.
Mm.
Windmill style music, like that post-hardcore.
Yeah, that was definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had really good stage presence, though. They would
Oh
like.
shit! I think we just shit talked a dead band by accident.
We're not shit talking.
We didn't
They,
shit talk nobody.
They had really good stage presence. They would like hop around in like sequence, and it was actually kind of cool to see, like aesthetically, I guess.
Yeah.
That's
I mean-
one of the things we're trying to work on is
You have a lot of potential. You have a lot of potential for that, especially when you have two people that their main thing is engaging the crowd. Because obviously the bass and the guitarist and drummer, they have, you know, they're down here. They're you know, I mean, they can look up too, but like
Right,
sometimes they need to look down. You guys can focus on literally anything you want, blurt out what you want, and I believe frontmanning is a fucking art. I'm not a bragger about it. I definitely have fine-tuned mine. I try to literally level change all over the stage. I get in the faces of the people that I want to know, that are there to see us. I'm not like Chris, where I'm swinging a fucking mic or a fucking
Or
air.
bringing your knees up
I
to your
love you.
fucking face.
I love you, Chris, but you're a wild madman. You gonna kill somebody.
at some
Man.
point that mic is gonna come detached.
Watch, just because of talking like this, he's gonna hit one of us tonight, like with a mic stand or something. Not even know what we recorded in here.
I forget his name. It's either Subu or Sabu. He's in Forget Conformity. When
He was, yeah.
yeah,
Back
it was.
at the time.
Yeah.
It was Subu, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember, because he was on the podcast when Forget Conformity was on,
Right.
and he was like, yeah, I almost got hit by that mic stand, like, a couple of times. I'm like, damn, boy.
It's dangerous.
Get your head cleaned off.
I think on some of the smaller stages,
Yeah.
I definitely bumped into Chris, but there's actually been times where we've dodged, like, Cruz would turn around with the bass.
Oh yeah, I know I've hit him in the head a couple times.
Yeah.
And then me and Blake just got wireless systems too, so it's like they're just having to dodge us all around.
Yeah, that's the
Definitely
main
something
reason
to
I
work
make
on.
Chris go stage right.
Well, it's like I said, just throw us out into the crowd. You won't have to worry about us, hitting anybody. We're just gonna with them.
Wireless mics, and one of y'all can go
We
in the
do
crowd.
need wireless.
Yeah,
We
that was one of the things we're currently
Talking about
working on right now.
Oh,
Getting wireless mics.
I definitely want to do it, because I want to sing and mosh with people at the same time.
One of the things like I've done is during solo for Hellfire, like I do the chorus right after it, and when we play the solo, if the freaking stage is small enough, I usually jump in the crowd.
If it's like Tomcats
people,
or Reno's,
Fuck yeah.
and then I freaking
Small.
jump back on stage and do the chorus, and it's like I won't have to jump back up.
Reno's and Tomcats are the two best places for mosh pits.
Oh, yeah.
Tomcats because it's wide. Reno's
Oh, yeah.
because it's the I don't know what it is about Reno's. Reno's has just enough space for it to be wide, but also long.
right?
With Tomcats, it's like an elongated oval. With Reno's, it's like the perfect circle.
Yep.
And it's just ridiculous. Those are like the two best places for mosh pits. I love Wits End, but I have run into that fucking guardrail so many fucking times. I swear to God, at least some of my skin is still embedded in the steel. It has to be at this point.
Yeah.
Like, you can probably DNA swab that shit and pull me up.
I remember it was at Reno's. Collapse into Chaos was playing when we
That
did
sounds like
Coil
me.
Back,
So-
or was it
that's
Monsters Made Me?
Coil
Yeah.
Back. It was May the 4th. Monsters Made Me was
Yeah.
on it. Yeah, it was a good show.
I remember I was in a mosh pit when what was it, Collapse into Chaos?
Collapse.
Collapse into Chaos. They were on, and I was in a mosh pit there. I freaking got bounced back, and I freaking ran up, and a guy came across my vision here, and I didn't see behind him was another guy. We freaking collided.
See, you're just so tiny. We have a video from like
I almost got knocked off my feet.
2010, 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this YouTube video on my old account back when I was like, 15, 16? And he's just this little kid, and we're up in the lawn during Bullet for My Valentine, and he runs into the mosh pit. He doesn't even make it in. He hits to the side and just like, he's gone. Just off camera.
During the Event Sevenfold one, I got hit, and since the freaking hill was slowed, I literally
Oh yeah, you're up on that
swirled in the air for a
No.
while and started rolling down.
You got fucking clothesline.
Oh, man.
Damn.
It was fun times.
Yeah, man,
Oh, dude.
Tomcats.
It's
Tomcats is a great place for pits. Reno's, I've been in a couple there. It's just like you said, it's the perfect amount of space.
Oh, dude!
It just
If you
fits.
get the right amount of bands, you get half the pit bulls out to a show, and then it's a fucking party. It's a fucking party. Especially, I remember when I was prospecting at one point for them, when I was running the prospect shirt. Sometimes we would just get together and we would I forget who, but there was a couple times where like we'd be chilling like outside Reno's and all that. And we would critique each other and stuff. Like, hey man, you go a little high. That's why you get narked a little bit. They were definitely helping me out shape my stuff. That's kind of how I got my moshing style down. Because they just took this wild, aggressive kid and they're just like, all right, we need to sharpen you up. Get over here real quick.
You gotta get shaped before you hurt somebody.
Fucking much
or
love.
hurt yourself.
Much love to the organization, Mr. Compost. If you're watching this, much respect. So one thing that I really dig about you guys, even though I've never seen you before, one thing I will say is that you guys share the exact same traits that Exhortation does, that Collapse into Chaos does, and when I say that, I mean, or like a band like Combat, you guys have this ability where you fit perfectly in almost literally any show. Like your style, I mean, like you are playing a show tonight at Reno's that is mainly consisted of a more core-driven
One
show.
of the heaviest lineups I've seen all year. Like all of that, Risinger, I was like, I'm shocked they were on it. Creatures and Chemicals were on it, so they just dropped. But I was like, man, they're really putting they're trying to add some. They're trying to sprinkle something in. That's something No Hope's always done. Is they like to bring a little bit of this and that into those lineups, so you're not listening to the same genre over and over.
Yeah.
Granted, for some people, that's amazing. People love to just get out there and two-step and have a really good time. But it's like you said, yeah, we've played so many shows that's just weird.
Like, remember the one at the Curtain Club?
Oh my god.
Oh, dude.
We had an acoustic guy start the show. Then there was a
Acoustic
mumble
A
rapper.
single acoustic guitarist, a mumble rapper, a light pop rock band.
Another acoustic
And
guy after
everybody
us.
in the venue is hanging back at the chairs in the bar, and they're just chill. It's like I'm like, man, this is gonna be a dead night. You know, Curtain Club, curtains closed. The first thing we do for sound check, we get these heavy distorted guitars playing, and then you just kind of hear this like shuffling outside the curtain, like what's going on? When it opens up, everybody's in the front. And you got these crazy hardcore kids flailing in the back. Like, it was one of the most insane pits we've had. Like, it was just amazing, just to see that explosion.
It's always great to kind of branch out and do stuff like that. And as I said, you guys could fit in as equally well to a core show as you could fucking playing with Demon Seed in a tournament, I feel like. I mean, like, you're...
See, we're gonna test the waters on that, because that Perpetrator show, I think Black Chamber, I want to say
Black
John's on it.
Chamber's
I don't know if they
fucking
are.
wild.
I know Black Chamber's on it. That's gonna be a hell of a night.
Yeah, we're
'cause-
playing some heavy hitters.
Dude, David Cruz is a fucking drumming maniac, and he's now the new drummer for fucking Silver Tongue Devil. Oh my god, my heart is stopping for a little bit. That dude's wild.
I think the local scene has actually been influencing us a little bit.
Oh,
The
yeah,
last two
for
songs
sure.
that we wrote are actually really
I'll
heavy.
tell you what, how can you not be influenced when fucking I Am Destruction releases an EP at the in March, and then gets signed to Unique Leader Records, who hardly signs anybody. They go very few far between who they sign. Then Stephen Mashburn is invited to go on a tour across the fucking country to do vocals for Ingested because their singer couldn't make it to America. Like, seeing a local band go from, you know, big, like, you know, local star and, you know, definitely one of the biggest fans in the scene, to a signed force where that music video that they put up on their page has like over 50,000 views, like over like 3,000 shares or some shit. I mean, It's hard to not be influenced by shit like that because that could be any of us on any given day.
Yep. I mean, hell, just us alone. We were this band that played for literally our parents and a friend or two, to the point where we now have, you know, we've been played on the Eagle, 11, 12 times by now? 3 different songs have been played. People bought tickets from us, messaged our band simply because they heard us there. And, you know, like you said, getting to play all these shows with different types.
1997 one.
Oh, yeah. Fucking Debbie Sexton.
Loud and local.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
But being able to play with core bands, with death bands, just get punk bands. We've played with everybody.
Yeah.
And getting that, we're snagging little bits and pieces from each of these fan bases who come up to us and are like, dude, we want to be at the next show. We want a t-shirt.
I've been honest.
It's amazing.
I've been honest with Chris from No Hope and Jonathan Baker as well, and even Cam. I said, hey, I know y'all would like to book a lot of mixed up shows, so if you ever want a thrash band and you want some skulls caved in, your boy here is ready to fucking show
I was
up.
about to say, man, especially with the new Thrashier stuff we've been writing, it'd be great to have you guys, like, if we could put something together, that'd be badass.
Oh, bro, I'm all open for 2019. I already got kind of everything filled in for 2018. But 2019, definitely want to start doing some shit. It's going to be, hopefully we can, like, record our full-length album and get that shit out, because we've been itching and we've been writing, like, really hard, and it's just an exhilarating force. But fuck my band, this is about y'all. So guys,
Speaking of writing, I still haven't finished Method's lyrics.
Fuck.
It's only been 4 months.
We've only played it like 6 or 7 times.
Oh, hey, it's okay. I was supposed to finish lyrics for a song that we're writing, and I haven't yet. So I guess while I'm driving out of town, I'll just be writing some ideas in my composition book and see what's up. So guys, I want to know your shows for this year, from here on out till the end of this year. I want to know what your plans are for this year, if there's any more besides these shows, and I want to also find out what your hopes are for 2019.
So after tonight, this is kind of the roadblock where we make our decision. We've received some advice lately to where we should record another 3 or 4 songs, maybe master a little bit more on the ones we have on the EP and release a full length. And honestly, I'd love to get back into the studio again. We have Method, Mortality, Rise, all these new songs that are just so different from what we did the first time. And we're at the crossroads. We're thinking about going into the studio again, but at the same time, the only things we have going on this year is like that November 3rd, we're playing with Perpetrator doing their comeback. October, the only thing we have is in Mineral Wells. We're doing a show, Heavy for Hope. It's for the Hope Women's Shelter in Mineral Wells. And
Awesome.
All ticket proceeds are going to the shelter. They're doing raffles for people bringing stuff. We're going to be donating merch proceeds to it.
Fuck yeah.
And I mean, just knowing that we're getting to go out there and help out with that, and even though people can't really make it out to those shows, we've had some people ask us about tickets to it just to support the cause and support the shelter. We're on it with Euthanasia, Dispositions. It's going to be a hell of a night.
Dispositions, you also need to hit me back up. We need to get a date rolling. Come on, Jameson. Where you at, boy? Hit me up.
But yeah, other than that, man, we're currently looking at stuff for October for local. Maybe do a local show in October.
Didn't you get a message about that? Just where you had one that said...
It was in November some, but we're not taking that one. It's too in between other shows. But like I said, October we're open. November we got one local. December I don't even freaking know.
Aren't they?
We want to do some stuff in December, but we're currently talking to a venue about putting a show together of our own. The first one that we actually get to help choose the bands.
Okay. Okay.
But at this point, after tonight, we're kind of like at that crossroads.
Do you want some input about this?
Oh yeah.
About your crossroads. I say do it. I say do it because other bands have done the scene and they have great success. If you are familiar with Electric Vengeance, their EP is it's fucking great. Their first EP back in 2012, Street Metal Attack. It's great. They personally were not fully satisfied with it though. So what they did is, not on their first full length, but on their second full length, they took all but one of the songs and redid them, remastered them, and you can hear the improvement from listening to that EP and listening to this new full length that came out like late last year. If you want to emphasize evolution, that's the exact way you do it. Steinax, one of the biggest Texas death metal bands in the scene. Colby Rogers is a fucking monster in literally every band he plays in. And all those motherfuckers in that band too are just nuts. They're taking those 3 songs from the EP, which is a great EP. It's one of the best EPs you can pick up in terms of death metal in Texas.
Right.
And I don't think they share the quality of the Electric Vengeance of not being satisfied with it, but they're taking those 3 and they're putting them on this link that they're working on right now. And I heard one of them already, and it hasn't even been fully mastered yet, and you can tell the new lineup with the new branch, it just sounds fucking wild. If you want my vote, I say you should do it.
I think that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to remaster some of the ones that we felt didn't really hit as hard as we wanted them to hit on the EP. Like Hellfire, I feel could use a little more oomph to it. But for the most part, like songs like the ones that have been on the radio recently, Scorn and Traitor and stuff, those are like damn good.
False Prophet too.
False Prophet's one I feel we could also revitalize. That one's got that Pantera-esque groove metal punch. I mean, I feel like it'd be a great idea to remaster the ones that we feel need some remastering, and then record another 4 or 5, go full length for next year.
We have a demo on YouTube. We were selling $1 copies of it, like at our very first show, and I'm not satisfied with that demo at all. I like it because it's raw and it captures what thrash metal is supposed to be about, especially back in the late 80s. But we're taking all 4 of those songs and we're gonna fucking smash them out on this full length that we want to start working on. So definitely would recommend always.
I mean that's also something we can do towards like when we did it. We made 50 physical copies and we put the EP up online. We made quite a bit of money just online alone, but all 50 of those copies were like snatched up.
Oh yeah.
And I'm thinking that that'd be a good way to close the book. That's all that we've made, that's all that we will make, and then start working on a full length and promoting that full length for a few months. So as far as 2019, I think that'll be what we're doing for the first quarter. Hopefully, have it out by probably March, April.
Getting back to those shows that we were talking about doing.
Yeah.
Didn't we discuss one that got moved for Brain Dead Brewery with Bad Blood?
I don't even know what's going on now.
Yeah,
We've been
Oh
moved
shit, you were going with Tyler Berry on that?
every week for a
I
few
love
weeks.
Tyler.
We've been moved around. It's all good. When it happens, it happens. It's gonna be beautiful when it does happen.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Tyler's a wonderful person. I really want to play a Brain Dead Brewing show myself. It's just two bands that play outside, really nice vibe, and the bands get free fucking beer.
Like what we did at Division. That was
Well,
the first
the
first Civil Unrest show once we rebranded and wrote the new songs and finally got out there. It's a terrible video.
It is,
But
but still.
It's literally us and like Brain Dead. They have their brewery, right? Then they have a beer garden outside, and then it goes into a comic book shop called The Growl.
That's Division, not Brain Dead.
Division, that's what I'm talking
Division.
about.
You said
I'm sorry. Where our first show was played. So you go to this comic book shop called The Growl, and you're literally just set up on the floor in front of the window on Division Street. And it's
pretty much
amazing.
playing
It's
in a
fucking
comic
awesome.
book store.
It's not like the greatest
Right on the
venue. They don't have
freaking
all
floor.
these amazing lights or anything, but they're really cool to play at. And bands, we were going up to buy our first beers that night.
Yeah.
And he's
that
like, "You
was-
here to see the bands? Oh, we're in a band. Okay, cool." He flips the wristband he was going to give us inside out, writes "Beer Me" on it, and he's like, "Come back for whatever you want." It's like, okay.
There's this,
Good first experience.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
I literally nearly fainted the moment he said it. I'm
He's like, "Free?"
no, it's not free.
Yeah,
But yeah,
20
it's all
different-
free. I look up, I'm seeing 8.9% freaking dark
10%.
craft beers,
11%
10%,
stouts.
11% stouts. I was like, I love you.
Man, y'all gonna make me not be sober anymore after this episode. Fuck.
the mint chocolate stout called Mosh Pit.
Yes, I've actually had that. It's so good.
I like their sour. The Elder Bramble is really good. Yeah, just plug in Division.
Their plum Exhaler is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Division,
that does
give us
sound
more
good.
beer.
It's freaking amazing.
Red plum or yellow? I wouldn't know.
It's red.
Oh fuck yeah! Good.
Dude,
Red Master
It
Race.
actually tasted so good. It tasted like it wasn't even a beer at all. It just
Oh,
tasted
shit.
like it was something.
Discussing beer with guys who look like they're in high school.
Discussing beer with guys who like they're in high school and someone who's trying to stay sober. Woo! All right, guys. I greatly appreciate you guys coming on
Oh yeah.
and help and just promoting your shit. It's been a lot of fun. We definitely need to do it again sometime. I am
yeah,
gonna hit
absolutely.
you up. We definitely need to do a show together.
Oh yeah. I
for
love it.
sure.
Fuck yeah.
And man, I'm gonna remember all these dates. I'm gonna try and make out a one. I really was coming out tonight, but I have family emergencies that I have
yeah,
to go
I
out
feel
of
that,
town for.
It's
Yeah,
like
dude.
it's just like with you guys. Shit happens. Eventually, we're gonna see each other's bands at some point.
Yeah.
It's just. how it
So
goes.
to every band that is playing tonight at Reno's, when you watch this day after, I bet you fucking killed it. And I would have been there to see y'all because all of you are fantastic. I love you all. This has been DFW Metal Mayhem, the most brutal podcast in the Metroplex. Next episode, I will be bringing on a band whose name I can't fucking pronounce. Literally help me with that, guys, please, if you're watching.